doing Sideburn last week kind of got me to thinking, what else have I done in random review that kind of commands me to do another figure? Something that feels incomplete if I don't cover the entire gambit, the entire range of a particular group of toys. And in this case, it is completing a 2-pack review. I already reviewed Deluxe Megatron from the Classics line, so now I have to look at Deluxe Optimus Prime. And picking this guy up and playing with him for the first time in years, I kind of remember why I had him on my Plastic Addict list for a while. But there's also reasons I took him off of it. So, if you wanted to see Plastic Addict, well, prepare, because there's some things to complain about here. For starters, look at this. Look at this vehicle. This is the vehicle mode, guys. I know I have a bad habit of mistransforming these things sometimes. That's it. That's how that goes. That's the truck. I really wish I could tell you otherwise. That's it. It's not pretty. And before you ask, no. There is no slide. There's no slide in the legs in order to collapse the thighs and hide them. The pelvis does not fold into the cab section. I cannot make this fit any more flush or get it to be any more straight. This is not flush. No, I cannot get these gaps to hide away. I cannot hide his head, which is clearly visible. None of these are possible. This is what the vehicle looks like, and holy... this is not good. This is not good in any way, shape, or form, guys. So yeah, it's trying to emulate the G1 Optimus Prime. And it's trying to do it in an extremely sloppy way. You can see nothing quite lines up on the cab. You got the front bumper, the grille, and the headlights all here, but there's huge gaps between all of them, and it all fits very unevenly. Nothing is flush. Nothing comes together in the box shape you'd expect. And nothing quite lines up correctly. You can see this, which will become the arm, isn't even in a 90-degree square. It's all just kind of crooked, like he's been in a wreck or something. And there's no way of getting these pushed in either. It's actually all spring-loaded in there for a little bit of automorph later on. And yeah, you'll see why that becomes an issue. The smokestacks are very tiny here, which I kind of understand. Safety law and whatnot, these do easily pop off. You can also see that, yeah, that's done that a couple times. There's no locking mechanism, so it just kind of hangs there. So it's a very sloppy vehicle mode in that nothing really locks in. There's little tabs hidden in there, but they really just keep it from going flush. I mean, they don't hold anything. I think the only thing tabbed together are the legs, which that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the only thing that's like a solid connection. And it's so long and there's so many joints in between. You can't, it's lucky to even keep these things straight sometimes. See, the roll test, as a result, gets a little bit fishy. You can, though, so at least we have that. Yeah, I'm not even going to bring up paint details in here because really there's nothing painted on except for the headlights that are made for vehicle mode. Everything else is pretty much made for or visible in robot mode, so we will cover them there. The only thing we can really do from here is take his weapon, which transforms into a turret, to plug into the back. I'm not exactly sure who's supposed to be using this turret, or what seeker is being shot down by this. I am not happy with it because it seems like a really silly thing to do with the weapon, which is going to cause another problem later on. But hey, they tried to do some kind of playability with it, so okay, you tried something. Transforming weapons are usually neat, but not when they transform into nonsensical things. I don't even know who the appropriate size for this. Even a Legends class figure wouldn't have hands that could both hold on to this. None I know of, anyway. So yeah, we'll set that aside and we'll actually get this guy into robot mode where he's at least somewhat tolerable. And by somewhat tolerable, I mean the only thing that saves this figure. Now we'll flip the feet up, which, by the way, the feet also do not hide in any way. I hate when the feet are just sticking out the back like that. It doesn't make any sense. The arms transform just like the G1 toy, and I think part of the idea behind the figure is to kind of appeal to those looking for a more genuine classic transformation for this guy. You know, with the legs don't squeeze in and the arms just kind of fold out from the sides like that. But I don't know, it doesn't really work. So we rotate this around, now here comes the automorph, guys, because we put the hips down and midsection all comes together. And we push it in to lock in place. And then we fold up the head, which also spring loads this little thing, so there's no gap visible there. We rotate the head around, and then we get him into Optimus Prime in the full robot mode. We tilt up a little bit so you can see. And here, he honestly looks pretty good. Like, okay, like the vehicle mode looks like trash, but robot mode actually looks quite good, quite detailed, and it looks like the original Optimus Prime. Like, this is one of the reasons he was saved from Plastic Addict, and we'll go into why in a little bit. First off, of course, we look at the head first. It is unmistakably Optimus Prime. It's a little bit of I like the crest in there too. It's a little bit, different from the flat. It's a little bit brave to have that kind of starlight kind of shape going on. The eyes are light piping. Yeah, it's not a bad shade. I can at least see that there is color to them, but it still doesn't light pipe too well. But oh well, you can see it. The head is a little bit oddly shaped. It's a little bit more, I don't know, angled in. It doesn't quite, maybe a little bit too thin, but beyond that, it's nothing too terrible. Now here we can see the deco a lot better. And they took some liberties, but nothing too out there. You got some paint apps here on the forearms just to give it a little bit of color, break up the red. The lights from the vehicle mode painted on in the correct spots. A little bit for the yellow for the pelvis. The legs got a huge amount of paint. These 3 round circles on the kneecaps, a little bit of yellow and gunmetal gray going through the center, as well as a silver around the sides and in the gaps, and in these along the side, which is an interesting little detail. And as you can see, a lot of molded bits all throughout the toy to get some machinery details into him, or even through here. A lot of this toy, very well molded and sculpted, and all really for robot mode. There are some oddities, like, for instance, you'll notice that the Autobot symbol is actually on the side of the arm, which seems a little bit strange, especially considering the toy was molded with a flat side on one shoulder and details on the other, meaning that it was probably meant to have an Autobot symbol right here. I'm probably guessing it's because it is the unpaintable brand of plastic, which ball joint sockets, which need to handle wear and tear better, tends to be. And you will notice he uses quite a bit of it, and you can notice easily because the standard plastic, very bright red, and then a darker dull red. It's not color matched at all, and it's very easy to see where the parts separate, which is very distracting to the eye, which is an unfortunate thing. Where the toy really starts to stand out a lot better is articulation. He has full rotation around at the neck. Nothing in the torso, though you'll notice a wiggle. We're getting there, guys. I know some of you know what that means. Don't worry. Full ball-jointed shoulders. Great range in those. 90-degree elbows and a bicep swivel. Nothing in the waist. Great range in the hips. Thigh swivel. Good knee. Nothing really useful in the ankle, however. So the range of articulation is actually pretty decent. And just form-wise, he stands as a fairly competent Optimus Prime. There's even molding details I like the fact that you can actually see seats molded inside of his chest. That's a very tiny detail, but it's a very cool one. Now, that's pretty much what saves him from being a Plastic Addict victim. He is very close, because that vehicle mode. But, as far as, just being an Optimus Prime, if you're looking for an Optimus Prime action figure, he's probably the best you can have. He's really good articulation, looks really good, and he's about the right size, like a standard, 80s or 90s action figure. So in that sense, I think he has some merit to him. As a Transformer, he's absolutely terrible. And it gets a little bit worse. Well, we'll stick on his gun for starters. Which the gun, because of the multiple hinges, is not quite straightened out. And it's a little bit difficult to get it straightened. But beyond that, it's not very much like the classic weapon. It's more has like a Tommy gun shape to it, which is a little bit odd for Optimus Prime. I don't picture him as a gangster, strangely enough. But it's not bad. I mean, aside from just like that goofy little transformation gimmick, making all those hinges. And then we get to, we get to the bad part. So, I mentioned that this guy has some gimmick to him, some automorph, and it's really one of the biggest detriments to the design and probably what causes the most problems. Now, this little tab that sticks out the back, I can push in to unlock, and then we'll have to straighten out the arms because, get ready, behold Optimus Prime of the Whirling Dervish. This is... This might be the dumbest thing I have ever recorded to video. This is absurd. Why? Thankfully, we can pull the tab back out and lock it into place so it never does that ever again, but why? Why would you put in a gimmick like that? I mean, give me some launching missiles. Like, give me some decent automorph where the head flips up or something, you know. Give me legs that retract in a vehicle mode that doesn't look like an auto accident. Give me something, anything to work with here. It's frustrating, like, to see that much engineering go into something that's so not Optimus Prime. It's a gimmick for a Tasmanian devil toy. I'm not happy with it. So when it comes down to it, Optimus does have a use as a display item. If you're just looking for something that looks like G1 Optimus on a desk or a shelf, there are far, far worse options. He looks fine, and he looks the part for a very inexpensive price compared to other toys that would suit the same purposes. However, as a Transformer toy, it's terrible. There's just really no excusing it. The gimmick is dumb and does not suit Optimus Prime. The vehicle mode is terrible and takes too many engineering shortcuts to take seriously. And there's just so much lacking about it as a Transformer. As an action figure, he's great. As a Transformer, he sucks. So, he is almost bad enough for Plastic Addict. If the robot mode didn't look so good to me, then yeah, he would definitely. If the articulation was worse, then he would definitely be Plastic Addict. But for now, it's best just left forgotten. It is not a good toy at all.